Alright, so right now me and Cisco are working on this fish tank. This is like a 30-gallon fish tank. The square ones are so much easier. It's a little fancy thing right here. But what I wanted to show you, what I'm going to seal it with, is ASA 509, 100% RTV silicone, manufacturing, assembly, and repair. Aquatic life safe right here, right? And so this right here is just caulk. But what I'm doing right now is just with a little razor blade. You have to get, if you're going to seal a tank, you have to get everything off the bottom, the sides. This don't have any across the top right here, so I'm lucky about that. But you have to get everything off, because if you just have a leak, say right in here, and you just caulk right in here, it's gonna leak again. So when you do it, you have to have one solid bond between everything. So just with a little razor blade, you got to be extra careful. And then you just score down the whole thing, and then you're going to be able to get it off. Then you score up again, up or down, like butter, baby. But then you're going to have to take that off. I'd done this one already, and I done most of that one. I'm going to have to get some more off right there. But then after you do that, you have to clean it with alcohol. You got to clean it with alcohol. But I wanted to show you what I was using to seal the thing. And when you put it on, like this is, say what this is, like a 1/4 inch bead coming out this way, a 1/4 inch bead coming that way, so that's a 1/2 inch bead. So I actually, some people tape all around or whatever. I don't. I just use my finger and I put it around, and I'll show you that later. Right now I'm just peeling all the silicone off. All right, so I got most of it peeled, everything. We got to get it all the way down, peeled really good. But look at the fighting with this little piece in the corner. See that little blue thing? If you don't get that out, it's gonna be a weak spot. So when you caulk around everything, it all gotta be one solid seam with caulk. Otherwise, if you just try to fix a little bit right here, it's gonna leak. If I leave that little bit right there, there's gonna be a part that's not sealed to all 1, 2, 3 sides. I had to count that. All right, so it's almost done. Then after I get all this out and cleaned up, I'm going to scrape the whole thing again, up and down, the whole thing, where everything is, to make sure everything's off. Then I'm going to clean it with alcohol. Now that it's all out, I'm just getting everything, everything off to get it all the way down to glass, top and bottom. To get it all the way down to glass, and then I'm going to vacuum it all the way out. Now on this one, it has the outside right here that you feel the bead on the outside. I'm not taking the outside bead off. That's actually holding that together. So I'm not taking the outside bead off, just the inside bead all the way, so I can put a 1/2 inch bead on every seam and around the bottom. So I'm gonna do the bottom first, and then come up on every seam. Then just use my finger and straighten it out as best as I can. All right, so here we are back to the tank. Everything is peeled off of every seam. Now the outsides are still here. The insides was peeled, so it's holding together really good. I'm gonna be using some Aquarium Safe 509 silicone. Now I gotta cut this 2 different times. One time is gonna be a thin bead. You see that? That's about a 1/4 inch bead. 1/4 inch bead on all the upright seams, and then I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch bead all along the bottom of it. I'll probably do a 1/4 inch bead up at the top right here. There's like no silicone up here anyway, so I'll probably do a 1/4 inch bead right there. I'm going to put a glove on. If you want it nice and neat, you put a piece of tape right here on both of them. You tape all around, and then you can peel the tape off, but I'm doing as neat as I can, and then I'm going to smear it with my finger. But this one right here says fully dry in 7 days. So there's 2 cuts with this one. One, you got to cut the top, and then 2, you have to cut this. I'm going to cut it about right there for the 1/4 inch bead. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit lower for the bottom bead. Alright, so I got my scissors here. Hopefully I could get it off with. You don't want to cut the threads. You want to have some threads on there. So I'm just trying to cut the tip of this off. Oh, didn't even get it cut. Got to cut a little bit lower. I got some garden shears if need be that I could cut that off with. That one's off. And then you got to cut this on a little angle. So I need about a 1/4 inch bead for the first ones. So there you are. That's your little diagonal. Okay, so I loaded it into the gun. I got my gloves on and a bunch of extra napkins. So this is going to be a little bit harder to get because it's kind of a octagon shape. The squares are a lot easier. So I'm just going to try to do the best I can. I'm leaning it down a little bit to try to get in here. I'm going to do the up and downs first, and then I'm going to do around the bottom. Then I'm going to go ahead and here. So that one's starting to look a little bit ugly. I'm going to clean it off though. Paper towels, not on the couch. I'm upstairs because it's warmer. It's 60 degrees in the basement right now. So now all the up and downs are done. So I gotta try to get a good bead. So I did cut it a little wider right here. And it's just it's a smaller tank, so it's kind of just hard to get in here to get the angles that you need. So you gotta do like kind of left-handed, right-handed. I had everybody coming home, so I really gotta hurry up here. Okay, so my finger. This is where you need some paper towels in your finger because we are gonna smooth everything. I'm gonna start with the bottom. And don't get too tight in there. Just a nice smooth layer all the way around it. This is only a 30-gallon tank, so it's not gonna need a lot of pressure. Okay, so this right here is done. I gotta take it downstairs to clean that out. It smells a lot worse than what I thought. So I'm gonna get a razor and clean it up a little bit. But you gotta make sure you're kind of welded together there, because you do the tops. You gotta kind of push with your finger to make sure it's pretty good together there. And then on the bottom, you gotta make sure it's kind of wide enough on the bottom. Now this is only a 30-gallon tank, so I got 1/2 inch on the bottom and like 1/4 inch up top. And this is gonna go downstairs now. On this episode, you can do it. Check that out. It took a while, but it's 30-gallon. It's resealed. So if you really want a fish tank and somebody is gonna give you a fish tank that's leaking, you have to peel everything. You have to peel everything on the tank, all the seams, all everything. You can't just patch where it's leaking. That's all new RTV silicone in there, 100% silicone. And I'm going to be able to give it back to the owner today. Current state, I don't have a fish tank set up. At one point, I had 5 fish tanks, and it was cost me $35 a month on my electric bill. So this is an inner city homestead right now. So this summer, I got to build a stand. I got to build a stand for a 240-gallon tank. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.